It was great. I would say after individual coaching, it was the perfect follow-up. I had pretty similar goals in the group as I did in individual coaching, but while I was in individual coaching, I did a good job of really looking at why I wasn't meeting my goals and what my roadblocks were. So I had to spend a lot of time in individual coaching removing the roadblocks from my goals. So, but when I got to group coaching, the roadblocks were gone, and there was so much increased accountability that I knew I really had to focus on my goals. So I was actually able to meet a lot of my goals that I hadn't met in individual coaching. Um,
Awesome. And what were those goals?
my goals were or my main goal was to increase working out and to just get a good routine in place. So
And why did that help you working out?
I had a lot of accountability. I also had a lot of support from people who had very similar goals. And so we were able to motivate each other and cheer each other on. And if I knew that somebody else was going to meet their goals, I didn't want, there were a lot more people I didn't want to let down. So I
Awesome.
make sure that I was doing my goal and doing my part for my challenge to, contribute to the group.
Awesome. So what were your takeaways in terms of learning?
In terms of learning, the skills that we went over that I thought were very beneficial, um, I have them all written down in my notebook.
That's okay.
I thought it was a good way of really, we did a good job of breaking down our time and how we were spending our time, what were the things that were taking away from our productive time, and what was getting in our own way. And then once we learned um what our time sucks were, we learned what's the most efficient way to use our time.
Awesome.
And it was a really good breakdown of how we are spending our day to it's just a very detailed way of looking at what our roadblocks are in time for meeting our goals.
Great. So how will you apply this learning into your daily life at work or at home?
It really actually helps. So I will be at work, and if I'm doing something, I am. So I told my coworker everything that we were doing, and she will help me out if she sees that I'm doing one of my time sucks. And I have learned to make as much of my time productive as I can. So, and not a lot of um, time wasted. So not saying that there's not downtime, because if I am needing downtime, if I'm needing time to just not do anything because I'm fried, making sure that I allow myself that time. Because if I don't allow myself that time, then I'm much more likely to make that a time suck throughout the rest of the day. Because my body will be fighting me with I am if I'm trying to be productive, but I haven't given myself that downtime that I need, then it just makes me, like 60% productive during the time that I'm supposed to be productive.
Okay. Okay. So would you recommend this program to others?
Absolutely. I have two friends that I've been telling that have your contact information, follow you on Facebook, follow you on Instagram, and I've told them that they need to do this group.
That's awesome. That's
The
awesome.
first I went after the last group, I went there and I was late, and everyone was like, "Why were you late?" And I was like, "Cause I had ADHD group, you know, go." And everybody needs to go, and everyone needs to do this.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna.
Oh, thank you. I really did feel like I've been telling everybody because it was pretty. Everybody knew it was a known thing that I used to work out all the time, but then the past several years, there's just been um I haven't been going, and everyone has noticed, I haven't been myself about it, and that I've been trying to get back into a routine. And so a lot of people have noticed, like, you're going to the gym a lot, like you're doing a great job. And I was like, ADHD group. With my challenge, I got back in it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, how long of the coaching process was it for you? How long were you in the coaching process, let's say?
So we did 3 months earlier this year, then took a break. So I would say the break was about 4 or 5 months, and then did the group.
Great.
Um, so that break was a good time for me to. I had set little mini goals during that of just getting rid of the stuff that was getting in my way. And so it was perfect timing because I know we had talked about doing a group before and I wasn't able to do it. The timing wasn't working out well. And then when August came around, it actually, the time was perfect.
Great. So, what's next for you?
So I'm applying to PhD school, which is something that we talked about individual coaching and in group coaching. So it
Congratulations.
is even more imperative that I use my time wisely now. That if I'm going to be working full time and school part time, so I'm finishing up my other graduate degree in December. But it's it's definitely not the same if I were to go to PhD school. So um, it would be so important that I'm managing my time very well if I want to continue my goals because my goals aren't well that is definitely a goal, but my main goal that has been very important to me has not been school related. It's been health related. So I can't lose sight of that if I'm focusing on school.
Do you feel like you have the tools now to be able to master your PhD program?
I do. I think that it's going to be very important the way that I break down my time and what I'm doing. I actually even yesterday when I had to work on my application, um, I had to think about my day and my time and make sure that I set aside this time and I have my focus booster app so I can do that because there's so much stuff even while I was writing that I was like, oh, but I really want to go do this, and so I had to set my focus boosters to make sure that um, I wasn't stopping my writing and just going and like playing on Facebook. And so I got so much more done last night than I have in the past couple weeks.
Awesome. Anna, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
And can you tell the viewers what you do currently and what change you made career-wise throughout the
Yeah.
coaching?
So I am a hospital social worker. I made a change from working in an inpatient setting where I was working Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. But I wasn't working 8 to 4:30. If there are any inpatient social workers out there or any social workers in general, you know that you would be working from 7:30 to 6. And so that was my big problem was that I could not set boundaries. I had a very codependent relationship with the role that I was in, and my job came above everything, and I could not meet my personal goals. So I moved to the emergency department where I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And it has been, and I do pick up a lot, but it has been the best change because it has established boundaries that I can't change. Our office is too small for me to work over. So if people come in at 7 in the morning, they kick me out. I can't stay late. So it has been the best change to for me to really cut back on extra places where I was giving my time, extra places where I was taking time away from me. So um,
Fantastic.
it that was one of the roadblocks that I needed to change was that I think for years I kept trying to establish boundaries that I just wasn't able to establish with someone with ADHD. I would always use that as my excuse for not setting boundaries because I would say, oh, it takes me longer to get stuff done, which it did. it took me longer to write an assessment, especially at 6 o'clock. It in the evening, it would take me so much longer to type an assessment because I was just done for the day, but I couldn't leave because I always felt like I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't doing good enough. My work wasn't good enough because I needed to put all this extra effort into it. So I think that that's so important for people to recognize is where their downfalls are at work because of their ADHD and what are changes in the environment that they can make um, instead of trying to make changes in themselves because it's there are a lot of things that we're just always going to have to recognize about ourselves and our behaviors. And if we can't change it, we have to change our environment that we're in. We can't just expect the environment to change itself.
Love it. That's fantastic, Anna. Thank you so much for your time. You're so
Oh,
inspiring.
oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I had to send you some before and after photos too from the gym. Um,
Okay.
Not about body change, but about you can just tell that I just look happier and just look better taken care of.